We'll get started. An option to start on your back or in a seat for a little grounding before we get started. So choosing a position that feels good to you right now. And wherever it is you decide to start, on your seat, on your back, taking a moment to get in touch with the ground, whatever part of your body is touching the ground. Taking some big breaths into the ground. Whatever part of our body is touching the ground, letting it melt, letting it soften. Maybe your next couple of breaths you let out of your mouth, fully filling the belly and the chest. Letting everything settle, letting your mind settle, and drawing your attention to the breath. To the sensations in your body, checking in, letting the rest of the day melt away a bit. And I wanted to start class with a few words from Adrienne Maree Brown, who is an activist and healer that inspires me. She writes in her book, Emergent Strategy, "I will admit here that even some of my closest loved ones find me naive for holding a vision of humanity with no enemies. I can imagine it though, and in fact, it seems like the only viable long-term solution. We need to transform all of the energy we currently put into war and punishment into creating solutions for how to continue on this planet. The time, the energy, the money, we actually have all of that in abundance. What we lack is will. What we put our attention on grows. While we often put our attention on the state and demand transformative and restorative justice, it is also important that individuals begin practicing in our personal, familial, and communal lives. We can reach the people we need to reach and measure our work by the way the relationships feel. It is hard work, but it is accessible to anyone, anywhere, at any scale." Taking a few more big breaths and checking in with where your attention is going. For this practice, what is it you want to grow? Knowing that what starts inside has a ripple effect. If you're not already on your back, you can make your way onto your back and bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice hug, a squeeze. Maybe rocking the hips back and forth a bit. And then letting the knees fall to one side, either that side, knees fall. Arms can be out wide, maybe resting on top of your thighs. Looking over opposite shoulder. Breathing into a gentle twist. You can imagine sending your breath to your spine here. Letting yourself melt, letting gravity work. On your next breath, bringing your knees back in, maybe giving yourself a little squeeze, making your way to the other side. Knees fall to the other side, gaze turns the other way. Still taking some big breaths here. Letting yourself ease into the practice. Slowly coming back into center. We're going to begin inviting some rocks along the length of our spine. Meeting in a seat with our legs out in front of us. Take your time with those rocks massaging the spine. And then also, this could be a good time if you haven't started your music. You're welcome to start that now as well. And so making our way into a seat with our legs out in front of us. Maybe removing the flesh from our seat. Taking a moment to feel the spine really long. Tailbone sinking into the ground, crown reaching up towards the ceiling. And then bringing our right foot into our left inner thigh. Left leg is stretched in front of us. We'll reach our arms up. And then bending forward, reaching towards that foot. Your hands may land on your shin. Feet can be flexed, toes pulling back towards you as we stretch into this hamstring stretch. Taking note of where you feel this along your back. Noticing where you can be more easeful, where you might want more effort here. And then slowly sitting up, we're going to reach that right hand back behind us and then shifting up onto our shin, coming into sort of a gentle wild thing. Just lifting the hips up. Again, being gentle here. This is a big stretch of the front body. Letting the front of our body expand. The chest expands. And then sitting our seat back on our mat, twisting towards our left. Just looking over the shoulder. Feeling tall in this seated twist. And coming back to center, we'll extend that right leg, bringing the left leg in. It's feeling nice and tall, reaching the arms up. And then folding forward, reaching for that foot. Letting your hands land where they land. Taking some big breaths here. Checking in, where do you feel this? Reaching the arms back up. Left leg goes, or left arm goes behind us. or sorry, opposite. Right arm, and then we reach up, lifting up into this wild thing. Again, being gentle, feeling expansion in the front body, front of the thighs. Big breath. And then releasing down and twisting towards your right. Looking over that right shoulder. Getting the spine nice and tall. Letting yourself come back to center, and we'll meet in child's pose. So crossing the legs, coming onto our knees, taking a moment in child's pose, letting the forehead rest on the ground. You can reach arms out in front of us for a little more active child's pose. And then here, what does the ground feel like? Checking in. And then your next inhale, coming into a tabletop. Inhale, dropping the belly, lifting into cow. And then connecting breath, exhaling into cat. Letting this go into your own cat and cow process. Exploration. Connecting our breath with your movement. Letting it be slow. Taking any other organic movements here. Coming back to our tabletop, shifting forward and lowering ourselves all the way down onto our mat, under your belly. Taking a moment here, forehead on the mat, adjusting your arms, rolling the shoulders back as you lift into a cobra, engaging the back body. Knees just forward, keeping our spine nice and long. And exhale, release. Maybe turning one cheek to the side, take a moment here. And one more, rolling the shoulders back, lifting up into cobra. And pushing back into child's pose. Taking a big breath here. Inhale, shifting back into our tabletop. Again, rolling forward onto our bellies, lowering our chest to the ground. Coming into another cobra. Engaging of the back body. And exhale, releasing, meeting back in child's pose. Lifting the hips, we'll tuck the toes and meet in down dog. Shifting the hips up, taking a moment here to stretch out the back of the legs. And the palms planted firmly into the ground. Maybe letting a big breath out of your mouth. And our next breath, shifting forward into plank. Holding it for 3 breaths. Option always to drop the knees if you need. Feeling the palms pressing into the hand, the ground rising to your hands. And your third breath, releasing down. Preparing for cobra or up dog, planting your hands into the mat, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest up. In up dog, lifting the thighs off the ground. And then meeting back in down dog. Inhale, looking in between our hands. Stepping or jumping forward. Coming into a forward fold. Take a moment here, knee slight bend of the knees, bending and stretching the legs a bit. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take 3 big breaths here, feeling our feet firmly planted into the ground. Crown reaching towards the ceiling. Inhale, arms lift up. And exhale, forward fold. Maybe slight bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Stay here. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. Taking a big breath here. Inhale, arms lift up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Stay here. We're going all the way up to standing. Lift up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Taking 1 big cleansing breath here in mountain pose. And 1 more half sun salutation. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And forward fold. Inhale, going all the way up to standing. Keeping the arms, or connecting the hands up at the top of your head, pointing your fingers up towards the ceiling, and maybe taking a slight arch here. Chest shines towards your ceiling. Keeping in touch with that core. And exhale, swan dive forward. We'll plant our hands into our mat. Stepping back into plank. Taking a big breath here, lowering all the way down. Rolling the shoulders back, coming into cobra or up dog. And meeting back in down dog. Inhale here. And then exhale, looking to the top of our mat, stepping or hopping forward. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And then planting our hands into the mat, stepping back in your plank. And going through what your flow looks like. You might be dropping the knees, coming into cobra or up dog. Inhale, lift that right heel up for 3-legged dog. And then stepping it forward, coming into a low lunge, dropping that back knee. Reaching the arms up. So here in our low lunge, dropping our shoulders. You can feel both that front foot and that back shin pressing into the ground. Giving us a stable foundation. Inhale, shining the chest up a little bit towards the ceiling. And then we'll exhale, release that left hand towards the ground, opening up towards the right. For a twist. Deep breaths here. And exhale, releasing that hand down, shifting back into a runner's stretch, stretching that front leg in front of us. You take a moment for like a halfway lift, and then letting yourself melt over that front leg, head heavy. And sending your breath to the sensations along that front leg. And then shifting back into our low lunge, planting that left hand into the ground, tucking the back toe, and coming into a twisted high lunge here. We're looking towards our right, Right fingertips are up towards the ceiling. That back knee is off the ground. You can think of energy coming out of that back heel. And exhale that right hand down. We'll meet back in down dog. The option to go through your flow if you would like. Inhale, lifting that left heel up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog, and then stepping it forward, coming into low lunge on the left side. Arms lift up, and pressing that front foot and back shin into the ground, dropping the shoulders, releasing any tension you don't need here. Really releasing anything in the jaw. Shifting our gaze upwards. And then exhale, releasing that right hand into the ground, opening up into a twist. Left fingertips are up towards the ceiling. And then releasing that hand down, shifting back into our runner stretch. That front leg flexes, toes are pointed towards the ceiling. And maybe taking a moment and a halfway lift, and then before letting ourselves melt over that front leg. Maybe pointing and flexing the foot feels good. And letting this be your practice, knowing you can customize it and make it yours. Shifting back into our low lunge, we'll plant that right hand into the ground, opening up towards the left as we tuck that back toe, lifting the right knee off the ground. And exhale, releasing that hand down. We'll step that back foot forward. And inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Chest expands upwards. And exhale, hands to heart center. Releasing the hands to the side, mountain pose. Inhale, arms lift up. And exhale, forward fold, planting your hands into the mat. Meeting in down dog, option to go through your flow. Inhale, lifting that right heel up towards the ceiling and stepping it forward, coming into our high lunge. Arms are lifting upwards, parallel. And feeling all four corners of that front foot pressing into the ground, dropping your shoulders, finding a point to focus on. Taking an inhale here, exhale, open arm twist towards the right. So arms are pulling opposite direction, gaze going towards our right. Our spine feel tall here. Inhale, arms lift up, slight arch. And then exhale, hands plant onto the ground. Meeting back and down dog, going through your flow if you'd like. Using this down dog as a chance to get in touch with the breath. Inhale, lifting that left heel up towards the ceiling, stepping it forward, coming into our high lunge. Arms lift up, dropping the shoulders. And here maybe checking in with our rib cage, making sure it's staying connected to our core. Big inhale, and then exhale, twisting towards the left. Arms expand in opposite direction. Coming back to center, slight arch here. And exhale, planting our hands onto our mat, leaning back in down dog. Taking a few big breaths. And then from here, we're gonna walk our hands back towards our feet. So hands walk back towards our feet, coming into a forward fold, the back of our mat. And then letting the feet go a little bit wider than your hips, about the hip length of your mat, sinking into a squat. You can keep your hands on the ground. That's good support for you. They might find themselves here in heart center. From the squat, really connecting to our feet, feeling our feet pushing into the ground. We're gonna go from this squat to standing. Maybe connect it to an exhale, lifting up, arms go up. You can expand the arms a bit wide like a starfish pose. Take a couple big breaths here, feeling expansion. And then exhale, coming back towards our squat. And we're gonna walk our hands back towards down dog. Nice. Leaning back in down dog, maybe bending and stretching the legs a bit. Inhale, lift that right heel up towards the ceiling, stepping it forward, coming into our low lunge, or our high lunge. Arms reach up. Big inhale, lifting the chest up, and then exhale, twisting here. Either taking an open arm twist, or maybe bringing your hands to heart center, more of a bind. And coming back to center, opening up into warrior two. Dropping that, spinning that back heel down. Feet are perpendicular to each other. And dropping the shoulders, feeling our arms extending in opposite directions, gaze just above those front fingertips. What are you drawing your attention to here? Inhale, reverse our warrior, reaching for that back leg. Right fingers reach up towards the ceiling. And exhale, connecting elbow to thigh for side angle pose. Length from edge of the foot through our fingertips. Coming back to warrior two. And then exhale, let our hands come down to our mat, meeting back in down dog, going through your flow if you'd like. Inhale, we'll lift that left heel up towards the ceiling, stepping it forward, coming into our high lunge on the left side. Arms are parallel above our head, dropping our shoulders. Big inhale, and then exhale, twisting towards our left. Taking your version, maybe connecting into heart center. Coming back to center, and then opening up into warrior two, that back foot twists down, feet perpendicular to each other, dropping our shoulders, knees just above our front fingertips. Letting yourself feel really strong here. Inhale, reverse our warrior, reaching back. And exhale, side angle, connecting elbow to thigh, reaching those right fingertips towards the front of your room. Back to warrior two, and then letting the hands cartwheel down, and we'll meet in child's pose. Going through your flow if you'd like before getting there. Maybe letting the knees be wide. Taking 5-ish breaths here. Bringing attention to your breath, to your heartbeat, to the touch on the ground. On your next couple breaths, we'll come to standing on our knees, bringing the knees close together, just about below your hips. Coming into a camel. So we can support our lower back by placing our hands right at the base of our spine, letting the chest shine up, pressing our shins into the ground. Feeling expansion here. Going as far as you feel comfortable today. And exhale, releasing into child's pose. Big breath. And then coming into rabbit, either clasping your hand at the base of, or your hands at the base of your spine, or your hands can support you right here as you roll up onto the top of your head. So again, taking whatever support you need. And then releasing out of this, meeting back in down dog. Again, we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet, letting the feet come a little bit wider than our hips. Again, coming into this squat, goddess squat, whatever that looks like for you, honoring that. Trying to feel the torso long. And then your next breath, lifting up, coming into starfish, extending our limbs in opposite directions. Take a big breath or two here. And then exhale, coming back into our squat / forward fold, walking the hands forward. Not worrying what this looks like. Maybe you look like a dog. It's okay. Meeting in down dog. Inhale, we'll lift that right heel up towards the ceiling, opening the hip, and giving yourself some time for some hip circles, making some big circles with the knee. Maybe letting it hang open a bit. Keeping our weight pressed into both hands. And we'll step it forward in between our hands, coming into warrior two. Each breath, maybe sinking a little bit deeper into this warrior two. And inhale, reaching back for reverse warrior. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. And exhale, side angle. Inhale, coming back to warrior two, stretching that front leg, shifting the hips back, coming into triangle pose. Reaching that right hand for a shin or the ground or some sort of support. Feeling ourselves like a book on a bookshelf. Try not to let the tailbone swing backwards. And coming back upright. Preparing for a half moon, so bending that front leg, and then stepping that back foot in. Maybe reaching for some sort of support as you lift that left leg into the ground, keeping the hips open, and using whatever support, the ground, the wall, beginning to test your balance, feeling strong on that right leg, all four corners of that foot pressing into the ground. Letting it be whatever it is today. One more breath here. And on your exhale, going into a standing split. So the hips turn inward, both hands can be on the ground. That leg stays up in the air. Dropping the head down. And then exhale, releasing that foot to the ground. And take a moment here in our forward fold, maybe grabbing opposite elbows in the back of your head, bending and stretching the knees a bit. Coming all the way up to standing, arms lift up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then we can release our hands to our hips, shifting our weight onto our left foot. We're gonna lift the right toes up off the ground, either just extending this foot in front of us like we're kicking through a wall, or you might grab your toes or your foot. So again, whatever this looks like for you. If you're grabbing your toes, you might extend it to the side. Releasing that, shaking it out a bit. Inhale, taking our arms upwards. Then exhale, forward fold. Letting your hands into the ground. Meeting in down dog, going through your flow if you'd like. Inhale, lifting that right heel up towards the ceiling, stepping it forward, coming into warrior two on the left side. That back leg spins down, arms reaching in opposite direction. Dropping our shoulders, inhale and reaching back to that back leg, reverse warrior. And exhale, side angle, connecting elbow to thigh. Right arm extends towards the front of your mat. Maybe sinking a little lower into the side angle. And back to warrior two, extending the front leg, shifting the hips back, and coming into triangle pose. That left arm reaches for a shin or the ground or other support. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Coming back to warrior two, stepping the back foot in, preparing for a half moon. Planting our weight firmly in that left hand, lifting the back leg up as we lift the leg, coming into this balance. Again, maybe using any sort of supports that are available for you here. And letting the side be what it is. One more breath. And then letting that right hand come down, that right leg goes up as you go into a split, standing split. Letting the upper body melt over the front leg. And we'll let the right leg come down. And taking some forward fold here, maybe grabbing both toes or grabbing the back of your head again. Releasing out of that. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. And releasing our palms along the side of our torso. Shifting our weight into the right foot. That right foot firmly planted into the ground. And then extending that left leg in front of you like you're kicking it into a wall. Or maybe you grab your toe. Picking whatever version of this. You also could set it on a dresser or a couch. You letting the hips open. We'll let both legs be at the top of our mat. Taking a couple breaths in our mountain pose. Again, how our body feels right here. Inhale, lift our arms up. And exhale, forward flow. Meeting in our down dog. Taking your path to get there. Shifting forward into plank. Holding this here, maybe dropping your knees if you need. We're going to let ourselves lower all the way down to our mat, taking as much time as possible. Eventually releasing yourself into the ground. Oh, taking some big breaths here. Enjoying this contact with the ground. Imagining if our part of our body can melt. Preparing for locust pose, we'll bring our feet and legs together, arms along the length of our torso, rolling the shoulders back and down as we inhale, lifting the chest up the ground, the feet and the knees come off the ground, keeping our gaze just ahead of us, trying to keep our spine long through the crown of our head. Engaging everything. And then exhale, releasing fully into the ground, big breaths. Again, letting yourself soften. An option to take one more locust pose or a bow pose. So for locust, just doing what you did again. For bow, reaching back for the tops of your feet, lifting up. So again, just feeling that full engagement of the back body, neck, head and neck are long. Releasing into the ground, exhale, and surrendering here, melting. We're going to come into a half frog. So for half frog, we'll bring our right knee up in line with our right hip. It's a bit of a gentle hip opener here. You can turn your gaze towards that right knee if you'd like, resting on an arm. And this one, we're really letting gravity do the work. Here in some of the stillness, checking in with our attention, knowing that our breath and any sensation in the body can be an anchor here. Bringing us to this moment. Taking 10 to 15 more breaths on this side. While we're here on this side, we're going to come into a shoulder stretch. So letting your left arm be long, reaching out kind of like a T, and then pressing our right hand into the ground, rolling up gently towards that left. You might use this right leg for support. Just coming into a bit of a shoulder stretch. Sending your breath to the sensation there. Maybe letting your sensation guide how deep you go into this. And then releasing back onto our stomachs. Taking a moment to reset. Maybe noticing any difference between both sides of your body. Before setting up for frog on the other side, so that left knee comes alongside you. And also I should note if you need any sort of pillow or anything underneath your knee, setting yourself up, taking care. Let yourself melt here on this side. Maybe another 10 to 15 breaths on this side. If your thoughts are wandering, and bring yourself back to the breath, to this moment. Knowing that every effort to focus our attention strengthens it. We can be gentle with ourselves here. Next couple breaths, letting that right arm extend like a T, coming into a shoulder opener. So pressing that left hand into the ground, opening up and using that left leg for support. Maybe it falls behind or in front of that right leg. And making this yours. Taking another big breath here. And then releasing yourself into your mat, again onto your belly. We'll find our way on to our backs. So taking whatever pathway makes sense for you right now. And just flip right there. We'll set up for a bridge, either an active bridge, or if you want a restorative bridge, or placing something underneath your spine. Placing our both feet into the ground, firmly planted, arms along our side, and letting the hips float up. Taking this version that you'd like. Feeling length along the front body. If you're an active bridge, you can let that lower. Bring restorative bridge, hanging out there for another breath. If you'd like to take another active bridge, take another variation. You always can clasp your hands underneath your back. Feeling the feet firmly planted into the ground, letting the hips float up. If we can, doing it with ease, even if it doesn't feel easy. And letting this next minute or so be whatever you need to close your practice. Maybe taking a happy baby, a reclined twist, or a shoulder stand. And letting this be your practice, your body knows what it needs right now. So trusting that. Any movements that you need before finding some final resting pose. No rush to get there. As you settle into a Shavasana, again returning to that feeling of melting into the ground, surrendering into the ground, letting yourself be held, and not forcing anything. Giving yourself these last few moments just to be. Take some big inhales and exhales. Filling the chest, filling the belly. And letting that breath ripple to any little movements here, waking the body up. Slowly allowing yourself to come to one side. Making your way up to a seat. Letting your arms rest on your thighs, or maybe they come to heart center. We'll close our practice with 3 big inhales and exhales together. Taking a deep breath in. Allowing yourself to bow forward. Honoring yourself for practicing in community today. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for your practice. Hope you're not too sweaty. I felt
I have a temperature, I have like a thermostat in here, and it's like 92. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's hot yoga.
It's hot yoga. Felt good.
Great. Drink a lot of water.
Hello, lovely class.
Thanks for joining.
Okay. What's your dog's name? What's your dog's name? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you know, this is a new dog. It's my roommate's dog, and her name is Andy. She's a greyhound.
Oh, okay. She does yoga?
You know, she's really good at down dogs. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks
she's a little
very
hot.
peaceful, yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Hope.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you
Good
around.
class. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
See you, Mom.